Hello, hello. Hi, everyone who has joined in. I think this is the most successful live so far because I see around 16 odd people already there. We'll wait for people to join in, but meanwhile, let me just post it on LinkedIn as well. Live on YouTube for UX portfolio review. Meanwhile, you guys can tell me from where have you guys joined in. There are so many people I see gaming with Ahmad, Rajat, Ahmad, Mansoor, Moinuddin, Ahmad. Okay. Thanks for joining in. Just give me some time. I'll just post it here and there. So LinkedIn is done. All communities are done. Instagram is done. And cool. All right. Now I have all your attention. Cool. So there is a question. While we wait for people, I'll just question: is it necessary to be a UI UX designer? You should have a design degree. No, it's not necessary. I have said this before as well in my live streams. I have been hired by non NIDians, non IIT degrees. I mean, design from IIT degree holders, non design degree people as well. All my life, right? So it's not really necessary. Uh, why sometimes it is preferable to have a design degree is, again, like, a lot of companies find it to be a good proxy to know that okay, this is a decent talent, right? Or we kind of feel that if they are coming with this degree, then they have some decent level of pedigree, right? It's like a tried and tested school that you're coming from, right? Like, for example, it would be mostly correct to say that most IITians are intelligent, right? Maybe not all of them are intelligent, right? But then similarly, it is going to be mostly correct, with obviously exception, but mostly correct, that people with design degree have that pedigree of what design is and how to use design and design thinking and blah blah blah. So that's why some people, use that as a proxy. Some people, in the sense, people who are recruiters, use that as a good proxy to say that okay, if somebody has a design degree, we'll value them more. But that does not mean that if you don't have a design degree, you'll not be valued at all. uh, in most of the teams that I've worked with, I have worked in Tally, I have worked in Zeta, HDFC, now I'm at Tide. So most of the people are not from design degree background, right? It's very rare to see that. But in companies like Microsoft, Adobe, maybe Uber and things like that, I have seen a higher density of IITians and NIDians and things like that. So there is enough job, enough opportunity for non-design degree aspirants as well. I mean, you can also apply for Microsoft and all. It's not like you cannot. It's just that I have seen some preference for degree there, but that does not mean that the door ends without a degree, right? So cool. So I'll tell you what we are going to do. I'll take the questions maybe sometime later. We'll see. But what I'll do is I'll actually share my screen. We'll go through portfolios one by one. Okay. And I'll give you some kind of context to how I am going to see it, right? Because that is very much important. That it's not a generic. I mean, if I were just as a person, looking at your portfolio, and I am hiring for my team, then I would look at it in a different way, versus if I'm hiring for my company, then my company has certain requirements. The division of the company that is hiring, right, they have certain requirements, and based on that they would communicate that to me. For example, when we were hiring at Zeta, so when I was at Zeta, we basically, in the pandemic, or in the 2021 market, we grew from 20 designers to 65, 70 odd designers, right? And I was also one of the designers who was part of the hiring team, right? And I was doing portfolio reviews and a little bit of resume screening as well. So the work gets divided between smaller teams, right? Even with the bigger companies also same thing happens, which is there is a team of 2 3 people who will be dedicated to, review the portfolio, dedicated to screening the resumes, dedicated to taking the interviews, portfolio round of interviews, dedicated to taking the case study round of interviews, or reviewing case studies and so on, right? So I was mostly reviewing portfolios and screening portfolios. So I'll get into that comfort zone, which is I'm going to assume that I have the same brief as I had, almost similar brief as I had at Zeta, which is, um, I'll just tweak it a bit, which is at Zeta we were hiring slightly more diverse way, but I'll think of it this way, that I'm working in a team which is more of a mobile, uh, building a mobile product for consumers, right? Let's say a Google Pay kind of a product, right? Or maybe a ICC Bank kind of a product, right? Um, ICC mobile app, right? And we need people who have a taste in visual design. That should be a minimum criteria, because not everything that we are going to build is going to be design system led. So a little bit of visual test is required, good product thinking is required, and sincerity and all of those things which comes as a minimum barrier in certain companies. That is like a company wide thing, right? That there has to be sincerity, there has to be certain level of, work that has been done previously, proof of work, basically proof of caliber, and proof of credentials, right? Has to be there. So I'm going to imagine that I'm hiring for that team which is building something like a Google Pay or a ICICI Bank, and or a fintech like that. And uh, yeah, I think that's the brief that I'm basically, given to, shortlist portfolio. So this is not again a portfolio round where somebody is going to, present their portfolio, right? I'm going to basically look at their portfolio and give you honest feedback of what I'm thinking when I'm looking at these portfolios, right? So you guys can also, get a idea of how a recruiter thinks. uh, I'll just take one more question. Started Figma by doing graphic for some clubs. Now I'm retracing screens after learning Figma features. After watching your UX syllabus, how can I complete each topic? Try doing Google search, man, on each topic, so you get all topics right in that syllabus wala video. If you have not watched, anybody who is watching this stream, if you have not watched, then bookmark that video as well, because I've covered pretty much every topic that a beginner needs to learn before applying to jobs, right? So Google search, go to NNG, Nielsen Norman Group blog, read there. Medium, go and read there. If there are any books you want to read, you read there. So again, I don't want to be super prescriptive about, okay, this topic, go to this place. I mean, I feel that would restrict how your curiosity basically, right? So I don't want to prescribe it that much. Maybe in future someday I'll have to prescribe, because I see more and more lazy people who don't want to do their own research. But I would suggest that, just Google search and find whatever, you know makes you learn the subject. So it can be a book, it can be YouTube videos, it can be a cohort, it can be a mentor guidance, whatever, right? Cool. Let's get into reviewing portfolios. There is one. Oh, my bad. Clicked on the wrong tab. So there's this one question. Are you from NID? Yes, I am from NID. I was in 2016, 2017 to 19 batch. I was in NID Bangalore, and I was in interaction design. Cool. So the first portfolio that I have is from Vineeta Rajput. Again, how I am collecting this portfolio or how I'm getting this portfolio is I had shared a form here, Google form, where you can basically fill in a few details, and based on that, I'll just randomly pick portfolios to share, right? So let's look at Vinita Rajput's portfolio. This came as a Figma file, so the link of it was a Figma file, and not the most impressive way to share. I mean, had it been a Figma prototype, I would have understood, but because it's a Figma file, it's not exactly made in a way where it is self-consumed. Or as a recruiter, I don't know how to travel this file, right? So it's a bit tough, but let's see. uh, so this is portfolio, this is OLX. I don't know what is this. Intentionala. Interesting. So some stuff have been done here. Interesting. But mostly you'll realize that most recruiters will only look at your first big portfolio or first big case study that you have presented. Let's go through Vinita's. Why can't I? Hmm. Yeah. Oh, have they changed the shortcut? Is it not command and dot anymore? This is fine. Command and backslash. But what about command and dot? It's not working. Sad. Anyway, just let me know if all the technicalities are working fine, right? Is it like, are you able to see the screen? Are you able to hear my voice? Right? Please let me know. So, Vinita Rajput's portfolio, this is more like the resume, entrepreneur and UX enthusiast, 9+ years of experience in the field of design. I believe that creative collaboration between design technology and is the magic that takes experience from good to great. Cool. Education, NIFT, Hyderabad. Okay. 9+ years of experience in the field of design. So, interesting. So, it's 9+years, but I think four 4 years are into education as well, right? So typically when we write experience, we try to write it as the professional experience, but it's fine. Cool. So this is the portfolio. Then what is this? Why did I get this link? Okay. Anyway, let's see what is this. Master's degree workshop. Like I'm trying to still understand what is exactly this presentation, right? Okay. GS recently revamped the website and approaches to redo their web app plus mobile app as per that. The new website draft has dark theme with sharp edges, button shape, etc. If that's the solution, I mean, like, that's not worth, uh, you know, bragging about. Like you change it to dark theme and with sharp buttons. Rather, ideally, I would have liked like what was the exact problem and what did you solve, rather than saying that the color changes and the button corner radius changed, right? Anyway, later workshop with a team of 9 participants over 2 sessions, project manager, designers, developers, project coordinators, AI folks, HR manager, QA head. Two exclusive problems were taken from each participant. Oh, a lot of people told that these are all the different problems, and then two exclusive problem. Okay, I think maybe it's a most voted problem that should be called out. So in that case, exclusive is not the word. Probably the most popular problem or most just a second. Uh, just tell me if the screen is visible, if you're able to read. Chat, please tell me if you can read this. Okay, when I'm sharing the screen. So, yeah, I mean, I am not able to fully understand like why should you pick this problems, right? Exclusive problem. So, uh, see, there are two things, right? One is your selection criteria, and another is your rejection criteria, right? Which is, if you don't have certain stuff lined up, then the recruiter is not going to spend a lot of time, because for us, mostly, let's say, after lunch, I'm sitting for 2 hours, blocking my calendar for 2 hours to go through, several portfolios that has come from the HR. So the best utilization of my time would be to see if it meets a certain standard. I feel this is a very beginner level so far. Maybe you are just starting out in UI UX, right? So this is very beginner level. So what I'll do is I'll basically not spend more time on this project and rather just move to the next person, right? So because if they have done a better job, I'll probably spend a little more time in that way, right? So yeah, I think I got confused here, like what exactly is going on here, and then looked at, like I said, visual design is a thing that is required here because you're building mobile apps and stuff. So it doesn't seem like it has a mature visual design language here. So can't spend more time on this project or this person's work right now. Maybe they have better work inside here, but not sure. Also, it's not a great idea to give links like this because I don't know how to navigate it, right? So let's move. Next is Harsh slash Synergy. Okay, fostering collaboration and knowledge exchange among university students. Okay, this is very impressive. Like the first part of it is quite impressive. So exchange students के लिए ये बना है, and then collaboration and knowledge sharing is what the main focus is. Let's look at the problem. Hmm. Where I personally find, again, I'll also have my personal taste and biases, right? I personally don't like this style of image, but that's fine. So the problem: who, where, when, why. Students in university miss out on collaboration and knowledge exchange due to barriers like weak collaborative culture. Okay, communication challenges, great psychological factors, limited awareness of like-minded peers. Interesting. Very nicely pointed out. Like that. Nice. What? The obstacles hinder their ability to combine knowledge, perspective, and skill, which affects their learning experience, personal growth, professional. Okay, that's fine. We put challenge at your fingertips. Sorry, we put college at your fingertips to remove. Okay, I don't know what that means. Let me know, guys, if you are able to understand this. But I got confused. Like, what is this? We put college at your fingertips to remove. Anyway, so connect communication barrier. Connect. This is what introduction to guitar. This course I'll teach you the basics. Okay, why does it? So I'll tell you what the issue with this portfolio right now, right? Is that it is not self-explanatory, right? Like I'm pretty sure this is made in a way wherein the person has thought of that when I'll be presenting my case study in the portfolio round, then I'll present it in a certain way. I get it. So this can be that version, and that is perfectly fine. But if you are submitting a link for, screening, right, then you need to have properly explained, and everything has to be written out well. Not like you have to use a lot of text, but at least I should be able to know what is going on, right? So connect, I see your guitar course thing. Not sure how that works out. It's psychological barriers. Okay, explore communities, writing workshop, this and that. Okay, cool. This is more like a book my show. Badminton. Okay, this is more like a social media post. I'm struggling with creating a color palette for my graphic design. Any tips? Okay, got it. Physical barrier. My wallet. Courses, places, events, products. Okay. This is like a book my show, but for specific college students. Learn, teach, collaborate. I think these are students who are teaching. Yeah, BDS UX design. Okay. One thing for sure is the visual language, the visual design is nice. There is they. I mean, the person who has made it has the taste of good design, so that is good. Except for the fact that the communication could have been a little more elaborative and descriptive, right? Learn, teach, collaborate. Join an exciting project with like-minded individuals. Learn guitar from your college rockstar. Okay, great. So this was more like an overview, but I didn't get it. Now I can understand a little bit. Help some juniors with basics or co-found your next startup. That's nice. There is always something interesting, and all of this is just a right swipe away. Okay, great. I got that there are different features that this person has thought about. Okay, but now the question is, how did you arrive at that? Okay. The social dilemma, analyze social media platforms and their user flows to discover why they struggle to bridge the social gap among university students. Key takeaways include made for individuals and not organizations. Okay. Then how can we take advantage of it is something I hope to see. Like if you move that from individual focus to organization focus, then how does that change? Trade-off between privacy and openness due to the public nature of these platforms. A trade-off has to be made between these two. Example could have helped. Lack of accountability. These platforms enable anonymity, reducing accountability. Great. Okay, this is fine. These are good problems that someone has identified. On the ground, these are the key insights from user interviews. We desperately search for one for many days. To okay, okay, user interviews. Since I mean, this person has given a website. I would have also liked if there was a link to some of these interviews, interview questions, and so on. So right now, I'm seeing the insights, what he has collected. I might would have liked to just look at the process as well. So a link out to say that to learn more about my research process, click here. That ideally should have opened a side sheet, and then I can read about it and then close it and come back to this. Right. That would have been the ideal experience. But if it opens in a new tab also, I'm happy to go to the new tab. Right. But showing the insights first is a good idea. Just that I would have liked the link as well. Based on the interview, following personas, empathy map, and user journey were mapped. Okay. Okay. Interesting. The ideation. Options, options, options. Nice. I like this theme that this person has followed, which is just one word stop, one word stop, one word. I think they have used it everywhere. On the ground, the social dilemma, share, engage, grow. So, yeah, good sense of writing or at least branding as well. Right. So, that's nice. Visually, I like what I'm seeing here. It's just that I'm not able to grasp it, or I am not looking to also grasp it as much because I feel there would be screens, right, which I'll be able to see how that works out. So some stuff has been done, right? Again, I'm not going into the detail of it because I don't have time, and they have also presented it in a way wherein I just get a sense that okay, some groundwork has been done, right? I don't know what, but something has been done. This is the place where ideally again a link can be given, right? I understand that you want to optimize for, just communicating the fact that you have done some groundwork and you have done a video, great job. It's just that one more link to see the detailed process, whatever, would have been nice. The final prototype, nice. Let's go to the final prototype. So this is connect. What can I do in connect? Oh, nice. Some nice interaction. Oh, there is a green and a red color that is happening. Maybe it can be a little more prominent, but fine. Why would we use this over a general scroll? Is a question that I would like to get an answer of in a portfolio round, right? Because you see, one thing is you play to your strength, which is visual design and delight, but then also functionally you should be able to have an answer to it, right? So cool, interesting. Okay, interesting. A lot of visual design focused stuff, delight focused stuff. Nice. Community. Okay. So it's fine. UX design. Nice. Okay. Updates. Interesting. See, visual design wise, delight wise, there is obviously good work that has been done. I think I'll shortlist this project for now. I think they have also given some rationals. Nice. Oh, card interface versus feed interface creates choice overload, leads to delayed action, text heavy interface. This is also text heavy. See, text heavy, it is in your control how much you want to show, how much you don't want to show. A distinct experience for connect and community. Eh, I think some discussion can happen, but I like the idea that they have done it this way. Like, why did they take a particular choice? So far, I'm liking what I'm seeing. Except for these illustration styles, these are like corporate Memphis. So, okay, the platform will charge university a fee for student access. Blah, is it about okay? How are you going to make money? Nice. At least you have given it a thought and a try. So that's nice. Great. So I think I like what I saw. Uh, I would have definitely given this person a chance to go to the next round and present their work, maybe. Or if it's a case study, then just see how they think, what is their thought process, and so on. Also, so if I'm hiring for a UX designer one or a UX designer two role, I would also like to see when we give feedback how they take it or how they use it, basically not exactly take it but how to use that feedback, right? So this is nice. Back to all projects. Nice. So this was their website. Interesting. See, quite clean. Hers Jawar, you have done a extraordinary job. So you would be going to the next round if this was a real uh, you know recruitment environment. Cool. Good stuff. Let me know. I'll just go back to my this thing, right? Ah, cool. You guys still with me? I'm just going to read some of the comments. Can you please recommend some good books for product design as well? Okay, there's a lot of comment. That's nice. But let me go through them one by one. Is it necessary to be a VX designer to should have a degree? Degree answered. Tips while building, documenting a design system. It's a separate question altogether. I've had this experience in operate and well. Issue for me to switch to product design now. It will not be difficult. It's just that you need to, unlearn, and then you need to also think that you are starting out at zero. Look, so for people who don't know what I'm talking about, this is the question. So somebody has 5 years of experience in operations, so they have a certain anchoring of what work is, how work is done, and so on. But if it's a field job and you're moving to, doing something creative, sitting on a laptop, talking to people, researching people, communicating with a lot of different people together, like collaboration. So be prepared that it will be a very different job altogether. It's not going to be that difficult. You just have to think that, okay, I'm starting from zero, right? It's a new job altogether. Are you from NID? Yes. My question, please. Can't answer right now. Do companies really follow the complete design process? Whatever whatever the companies follow, that is the design process, right? There is no one design process. Again, there is no one process that a company follows. There are just different ways to solve the problem. Varies between different teams, varies between different deadlines, varies between different designers. So again, constraints define your process, right? That's like life. Your constraint define your process. So uh, if you think that it's the process that we do in college we do it to learn every step of design process, to do it as ideally as possible. But again, you add some other constraint in corporate environment, it differs. So most likely, if you're asking me about ideal design process that we do in college, then we don't do it in corporate. Can you please recommend me some good books on product design as well? I have never read much books on product design, so I would not recommend too much books on product design, but you can learn online, right? So, and one of the reason, I mean, I have read about face, I have read design of everyday things and so on, but I would not recommend it that much. And one of the reason is they don't get updated that fast, right? Like they were written some 10 years, 20 years back. I don't know when it was written, but whatever it is, the authors themselves don't give too much effort into, rewriting some of the things that they've done. Obviously there is baseline fundamentals that is written there, but those fundamentals, how much are you going to read, right? You got to, start doing practical stuff. So I would rather suggest keep up with YouTube videos, keep up with blogs that are being published and so on. So that's why I myself didn't read that much books, so who am I to recommend books, right? And I mean, I have read books, but not on product design itself. You can see a bunch of books lying around behind me, but not on product design. Product design, it's a evolving thing, right? So it's better to, read it what is more current, blogs, videos, and so on. What are the key points recruiters check in portfolio? Which position has most requirements nowadays? I think senior position has more requirement nowadays. I was also checking Sanjay Bhai's post as well on LinkedIn. Sanjay Rawal, he we did a podcast as well. We talked about the thing that is going on right now with in the UX recruitment market. So he was telling that the position which is with 3 to 5 years of experience, that has more opening. So yeah, more opening compared to others, right? Quality of stream is 720p, in which is a bit difficult to read text. Okay, get it. uh, that's how much I have got with this streaming platform basically. So that's why I would have ideally liked it to be 1080, but yeah. Yes, but I don't understand the brief nor the issues picked, how they were picked. Yeah, exactly. Yes, I can read. Can you up the quality to 1080? Sorry, man. I think I'll need to get a get a new subscription. Most effective way to organize a portfolio. You have your website. You give them like a small brief of who you are, what you are good at, maybe what you are exclusive at, right? For example, if you ask me, I usually do it in this way. There are 5 things when I present my website. So first one is about me. About me, I tell that I have n number of years of experience. specialized in fintech, specialized in mobile apps, right? So I create my own niche there, that all of my experience is in this particular niche itself. And that's why I get picked by fintech companies more as well, or mobile based product companies more as well, not service based companies and things like that. So that can be one of your part. If you want to keep it general, then you write a short bio about yourself, whatever is unique to you, not like I'm a problem solver. Every verb in the world is a problem solving. So keep it something slightly specific, and so that would be a short bio. Then give three links to your projects: case study 1, case study 2, case study 3 if it is possible, or case study 1 and 2 is good, that is also fine. Case study 1, try to make it your hero project, right? It should be able to sell all the skills that is required by the recruiter. So please make sure that your case study 1 is your hero project. And then at the end, you can also give a link to your resume as well, or a LinkedIn profile, things like that, updated LinkedIn profile, of course. So that would be, to me, the most effective ways. Right. Let me see if any question I'll pick right now, because I can look at a few more portfolios as well. Let me see. What all skills do product designer need? Depending on levels, man. Like, to begin with, I would say one thing has to be around having a taste in visual design. One thing, taste in product in general. Like, you should be curious enough to think of, okay, or rather appreciate how people have solved problems. Like, if you're scrolling Instagram, try to appreciate the fact that you know like, or try to understand why they have changed something. Like, for example, let me show you something. Okay, try to get to the root of what is. So can you see that they have actually changed this alignment here? Earlier it used to be till here, now they have done it till here. Okay, so the question now is, why did they do it, right? um I don't know the answer, but it's a good question to ask. As a designer, you should always be curious around those kind of things, right? um Also, another thing, small thing again, there is a blue dot that you can see here, right? It says professional dashboard and there is a blue dot. You should notice these kind of things when you are operating digital interfaces, because at the end these are going to be super helpful. So this blue dot prompts me to actually look at my dashboard, because something has changed in the dashboard, right? There is a message for me. So things like that is something that you need to be very observant about. Understanding general world and being curious around general world is one thing, but the most return that you are going to get is actually by being curious around digital interfaces, right? The things that you are using daily, right? And I would suggest try installing uh, apps like Airbnb, Flipkart, not Flipkart, but you get the idea, like Swiggy, Airbnb, Twitter, x.com, booking.com, or even Tinder for that matter, right? Bumble, Tinder for that matter. Just to look at the interface, right, and observe the smaller things that they have done. Even Telegram is a great example of so many small UX changes that they have done, is very good, right? So keep a tab of that those are two important skills. And of course, if you want to do a job, then the most important thing is be sincere around what you're doing, right? So that's uh, the basics, right? Work ethic and sincerities are the basic. So to sum up, like, you got to have the skills of observation, the curiosity, and then sincerity. That should be the three things. Baki, the design sense and all of that, you need to also build, right? And I have created a long list of UX roadmap in one of my videos, so please have a look at that. Let me pick two more questions. Okay. Is it acceptable to move away from the traditional case study format that outlines the entire design process and focus instead of highlighting the most important aspects? Of course, I mean, at senior level, when I was looking for a job, and recently, not recently, but it's been about 7, 8 months since I was, looking for a job. But the way I had, created my case study was give an overview of what the hell is happening in this project. That is fine. But then comes to my contribution, right? And where did I do something that's, you know, meets expectation and goes beyond expectation as well, right? So this is the thing that I did, this is what meets expectation, but then I did A, B, C, D in order to, take it to the next level, right? And that is pretty much all the stories that I present, right? Another story that comes also is, uh, I thought about idea one, these are the pros and cons. Idea two, these are the pros and cons. Idea three, these are the pros and cons. And I try to get a understanding of what problem to basically, live with, right? Because every design has a problem. Every design has its own pros and cons, right? So what can I live with, right? And then I selected this and proceeded with it, right? So that narrative is very important. Also for me at my scale, stakeholder management, ideation, uh, what else, communication, those are also very important at whoever is hiring me, right? So I try to sell those skills through those projects. And obviously whatever the smaller things that I've done, like design system I've done, but then in one slide I just, how this person also showed, like, uh, paper screenshots they took and showed, right? Similarly, design system, I had also done it that way. Okay, see that all of these button blah 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 I have done, and next, right? 10 second, I'll spend 10 second out of the 10 minutes about design system, because I'm not being hired for design system. But if I were to just communicate the idea that, hey, no, I know how to, build scalable UIs, then I'll just for 10 seconds say that, oh, we also build a design system based on blah 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 factors, right? What is interesting, or what was the challenge about design system? There was a particular blue which was the brand blue, but we said that that brand blue has to be a little darker for it to be, what is it, more accessible. So how did we manage the stakeholder, how did we manage the client? The discussion then stems to that, right? How did we convince that you need a darker blue and not the brand blue that you had, right? So I mean, yes, you don't have to do the traditional case study. In fact, I don't know why this became a traditional case study. Till 2016-17, till UX cohorts were not there, there was no one single template of how to write a case study. Everybody used to write what they did in order to solve the problem, and everybody solves problem in their own way, right? Suddenly when this UX cohorts and stuff like that came, suddenly there is this template that has become that, okay, you know, to do this and so on. You can pretty much not follow the traditional case study. In fact, I was doing this one portfolio course masterclass where I was talking about, how to basically present, what are the things that needs to go into it. And I was very conscious that I will not spoon feed the exact like framework of this needs to be there, then this needs to be there, this is how you need to write, right? I'll give you broad strategies, and smaller or focused tactics is something that you need to figure out for yourself. Otherwise, everybody's case study is going to look the same. So 100% please unfollow traditional case study format. No, that is fine. In fact, I would be very happy to see different formats. One more question. As a college student, I always get confused that how should I do primary research with actual user for project and case study. How I used to do at NID was, I'll again, I had some digital presence, right? So I'll create a Google form, and I'll also create a small snippet, kind of a imagery or a poster or things like that around what is the problem that I'm solving in my project, right? For example, let's say it's about financial literacy. Okay, so I'll create a small post like this thing. Okay, okay, somebody who don't know how to choose a particular mutual fund or invest in stocks or FD, or are there any other methods of investing, right? I would say that this is what I'm trying to solve for, but for that I need your help. Okay, I would like to know how you solve your personal finance. And then there is a Google form where I would ask different questions. Now that's a survey, but at the end also I'll ask again, that should be a short survey, and at the end I used to ask that, would you be interested in talking to me on a phone call, or things like that, right? So that basically becomes my screener also. So there I would ask them those questions, demographic questions, which basically becomes a screener. So questions like, let's say, gender, um, trying to understand what economic status they fall into, right? Trying to understand how much they earn, perhaps, right? But again, not directly asking the question, but somewhere around that, where do you live, for example, right? So if they say that they live in a particular, like, god class society in Bangalore, then I'm like, okay, cool, they are from a top tier place, right? So what that does is that becomes like the data points for me, right? Then what I'll do is I'll open up the Excel sheet. I'll see that, okay, these are all the data points. The first five people that I want to connect to are following need to follow these criteria, right? So based on that I'll apply the filter, and then I'll see among those 10 people, let's say 200 people have responded. Among the 200, there would be 10 people who will meet the criteria of my target audience, right? And then among that 10, there might be three people, four people who would have said that, okay, I would have liked to have a 30 minutes chat with you on a phone call, right? And then I'll basically recruit them and have a discussion with them. So that was my way to do primary research. Otherwise also you can pretty much just, go to a particular environment where your target audience density is high, and then ask them, right? You can do it physically, on ground as well, or you can basically, do it how I just explained, digitally as well. Let me know, by the way, if that helped. Cool, let's go back to, uh, what is it called, where is the tab? Okay, let's go back to reviewing portfolios, but let me have a sip. Cool, let's go back to reviewing portfolios again. Nice. Open for full-time positions. Love it. Hi, I'm Akash. I'm a UX designer skilled in transitioning user behavior to digital experiences. Fine. I mean, I was talking about this, right? Which is a small bio, not like 10 liner bio, small bio. Handpicked projects. AI web platform. I mean, this one is compared to specific data. Higher length. Analyst can now access tons of data trapped in extensive PDFs within seconds. Okay. Beyond Swipe, multi-device application. Gardenly mobile Android app is a home plantation assistance app. Okay, that's nice. Sounds interesting. Only guides you throughout your plant nurturing process, but also helps you in finding the best plant care products for your little saplings. Nice. This is also nice. Outside the world of design and research, I love cooking, driving, and talking to people. Nice. If it was me, I would have actually written it here somewhere. Or, yeah, here somewhere for sure. There is about also, which is nice. Cool. Handpicked project. Let's look at handpicked project. Context. Program reports are compliance documents. Nice. This is really nice how he has started it. that shows the federal government how the states run federal funded programs. The PDF documents explain the details of how the state manages these programs within their state. Yet these resources are incredibly difficult to use as a policy analyst. Okay, because you can't easily compare across states or parse the information within. Why would somebody pick a project like this? Designed an LLM based web application to help policy analysts find specific data within reports, saving about 80% of the time. Oh, okay, okay. There is a sponsor for it. That's nice. That's nice. Okay. Or I was just thinking, why would anybody do it as a personal project? Like, how would they figure out that this is a problem that exists in the world? Right, like for example, when we do personal projects, it would be more like a plant ko pani dene ka, dog ko ghumane ka, food delivery, five people want to order food. Those are the kind of problem that we face in our world, right? Like suddenly a federal government, state government, itna kuch. So okay, so this was a sponsored project. Nice. Okay, there is a small team, UX research, UX design, 6 weeks. Okay, how did we reach here? X research, understanding their workflows, define the second phase was about translating findings into product opportunities. Nice. Methods used, user interviews, affinity mapping, JTBD, personas. JTBD is job to be done for people who don't know. Personas, journey mapping, storyboarding. Job to be done is very much same as journey mapping, to be honest, right? But yeah, it's more like you just try to write down what are the kind of jobs that a person would be doing in their particular work, right? This is especially useful. I mean, it's useful everywhere, but it's mostly useful when you are targeting a specific work group, right? Like I, as a person who is working in a particular company, let's say I'm a designer, right? So if somebody is designing a design tool, then this JTBT format is even more useful, because you would wonder, okay, as a designer, what is a job that he is doing, right? uh, Job could be even drawing a rectangle is also a job, manipulating that rectangle is also a job, but seeing it from that lens is actually very useful. So nice, JTBT, because they are targeting a specific work group, right? So define the second phase was about translating findings into productive action. Is gone. Methods used. Yeah, fine. I don't know what is POGs, by the way, but yeah. This is a proof of research that somebody, I think he is the person who is standing here and doing. So even though I am finding it hard to read, but it is fine. I would have liked a link out saying that this is the detailed research, but this is also fine. This image is good enough for me to understand that okay, he has done, there is some proof of work there. 12 interviews with policy experts, they got a common sentiment that they were all nice highlight. Looking for specific information. What was even more surprising is that main job, I think I'll just read the highlights now, make informed decisions or recommendations. Okay. Job to be done, collect data. Oh, this is a lovely representation. See, it's so simple to now understand what they do, right? So collect data, generate reports, and then analyze those reports, make informed decision. Okay, to some extent I get an idea what do these guys do. Federal policy analysts ensure accuracy and reliability of data in program reports, analyze KPIs to access across all states, navigating through lengthy reports with time constraint, difficulty in identifying crucial insights, analyzing data. This is nice. It's it's so direct and to the point, right? So I really like this idea. There is something here as well. This is nice. I also like how this person has actually thought about simplifying certain concepts, right? Maybe I'll not be able to get it, maybe I'll be able to get it, but the fact that there is effort to use a diagram to simplify it, is something that I'll appreciate, right? After a thorough analysis of interview finding, why police analysts find it difficult to navigate through program reports. Okay, why? There is a mismatch in existing mental models of two user groups, one who generate reports and one who consume them. Different states satisfy the same federal regulations in different ways. By the way, so far you might be thinking that I have understood fully what the fuck is happening here. Okay, it's not that. What I'm rather doing is I'm just trying to understand how they are solving the problem. I have not fully got an idea of what the problem is, but I'm getting a sense of how this person is approaching those problems and how are they, even presenting it. So far it has been impressive, right? Even though I do not fully understand what the exact problem is, and that is fine. I do not need to fully understand what the problem is. I need to see the approach of solving it, right? And so far it's very impressive. Design opportunities, how might we help policymakers to quickly find specific information within? That's nice, right? So one is, how do we speed up the process? The other one is easily compare variations in specific parts of reports. This is nice. How do you basically find out that this report, uh, like for example, somewhere the federal one says that uh, the threshold for accessing this money is A. The other one says that in the state it says, for us it is not A, it is B. So somewhere you need to say that okay, the threshold for the state A is A, state B is B, state C is C. Right. So I think that's something that is there. Cool. Defining the solution space. By the way, I just gave a very random idea. I don't know even if that makes sense, but I get the idea of what that is, right? Defining the solution space. Any solution we develop, laborious work of finding, parsing data, human cross checking everything, extremely crucial for our target users. Okay, labor intensive and low risk. This is where they are. Okay, I like this 2 by 2 matrix. Low risk, high risk is fine, but this is a smart way, like labor intensive and intellectual. Nice. Building a solution. The phase has more towards getting a high level idea of the solution, exploring the breadth, exploring the depth. Nice. So far, I'm enough impressed to basically take this person to the next this thing, but it's still what, ideation phase, right? So I understand that. So here two things are happening, right? One thing is I've not fully understood the problem. The second thing is I'm impressed enough by their research and ideation that I would like to see the solution now. Okay, because I think they have basically nailed the product. What is the final product? GovScan is an AI web platform which helps policy analysts summarize, compare, and find specific data from extensive data. Okay, let's see. I think this is not, this is just a hero image. I think they could have improved it in a way wherein, you know, it came out like that, that okay, this is just a hero image and not something that you need to read or try to get an idea of. I think this is where the real explanation starts. So you can chat with the website of the interface is chat box where policy analysts can enter their questions related to PDFs. The platform might give them a summary. Mm, okay. I think I would have rather liked that it began from the beginning, which is these are the policy document. Somebody just uploads it, then it shows that okay, it confirms that these are the policies and this is the outline of everything that you have submitted, right? I think a classic example would be notebook LLM. I don't know if you guys are aware of it. Maybe I'll make a video of it. But yeah, I get the idea of what is happening here. Most likely someone has uploaded a bunch of PDFs and now what they're telling is this is the layout, this is where the chat will happen, this is where the summary of the PDF is. Okay. These are citations. The right side of the interface shows page numbers for the information. This helps analyst backtrack the source of the data. Okay, that's fine. Uploading files. Now they are coming with uploading files. Okay, fine. You can upload file. Prompted suggestions. This is fine. Have they written that these suggestions are based on the file that they have uploaded? The AI platform scans the document and suggests few questions. This aids user in understanding the context of the document. Has the program address diversity, equity, and inclusion? Blah blah. Okay, fine. Okay, that's it. But hmm, I don't know. Something felt missing at the end. Let me see. Okay, so I learned that conducting user testing by an early stage is incredibly advantageous and cost effective. Correct. If I have to revisit, I would have increased the number of user tests, examining how the product formed across various types of report. Additionally, I would work on crafting comprehensive product launch strategy. But blah blah blah. Okay, but I think that part which was about this problem, right? Which is so what they want to solve for. If I go back, right, it was about because you can't easily compare across states or parse the information within. Parse the information within is fine, like you're creating summaries and bullet points is fine, but where did this thing go? Like, because you can't easily compare across states. Ideally I would have liked to see that okay, you have uploaded different states ka report, and now you see a comparison between those things, right? I mean comparative views of those states basically, or those reports for those states rather. For example, these are the things that is common between blah 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 states. This is exclusive to this state, this is exclusive to that state, and so on. So that would have been nicer, because what is this is basically very close to ChatGPT only. It's not as custom made for this use case, rather it's kind of generic, if you get that idea, right? I mean, let me know if I'm making any sense, right? I feel, see, taking Chat GPT and customizing for a particular use case is a great thing, right? And I was looking for that as a solution. But this is more like leaving it at a very Chat GPT level only, right? Anyway, cool. But I like the fact that there is enough research, good way to communicate, and all of those things were done. The final solution felt a little short, so I'll still give them probably a case study to work on maybe. My only issue is probably this person has not worked with mobile. So let me just have a look if they have worked on mobile screens, consumer facing stuff as well. There is a particular taste in visual design, so that is there. Let me just look at the visual design of mobile screens. This is the Bumble, na? This is the final product. My score is a feature that enables you to check. Okay, what the fuck? Okay. Okay, this is inside Bumble, so it will follow Bumble's design language and all of that. What about this? By the way, what I'm trying to get is I'm just trying to get an idea that whether they have decent visual design skills or not in terms of mobile UI. Mm, yeah, fine. I mean, trainable. Like for example, this need not be green, right? Like it can be black, because everything doesn't have to be green. Mm, fine. This looks okay. I mean, this doesn't look great, but this is acceptable for the fact that this might be a older project. This was a third project, so hence I thought so. Although it is not written anywhere. But look. The fact that I was impressed by the initial research and the ideation part, I would have ideally gone ahead and taken them to the next round, especially with a case study rather than a portfolio. Because in portfolios, I have seen everything. No, not everything, but to an extent, I get the idea of what is there in the portfolio. So ideally, I would, you know, pick them for a case study round where we will give them a particular case study, or a whiteboarding round where we'll give them a particular problem and we'll see how they're solving it, and then ask them to take one particular screen and make a visual design version of it, just to see whether the visual design is strong enough or not. But yeah, this is good stuff. Next, Sudhata Kambale. I'm watching everybody's name, isn't it? Let me see if there are still people on the call. Why am I not able to see? Oh yeah, there are people on the call. Cool. Here it says 34. Cool. Sudhata. As usual, we'll just go through the first project. Okay. There's some animation going on. Responsive website for education consultancy. 2024. Okay. 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 Jitter.video. Okay. Ideally, I would have liked if this would have been cropped, if not anything, right? Or if this did not exist, but fine. EduOnTech tends to facilitate students in identifying and selecting colleges that best match their academic goal and personal preferences. Okay. Students and parents, nice. Ages 50 to 30. What would student at 30 look for? Interesting. Looking for seamless, user-friendly digital experience that simplify the decision-making process. Okay. Through collaboration and creativity, we streamline a complex platform into one seamless experience, making it easier for students and parents to navigate their educational journey. See, this is a lot of words, but does it, for me, it's just a lot of words, right? Like, it does not talk about a specific problem or a specific solution or anything like that. Simplifying complexity is straightforward, right? Like, everybody, I mean, that's the job of the designer only. So I think this is a missed opportunity in the sense that if you are writing down something, try to make sure that it, takes your narrative forward. It's not just, bunch of word that sounds good needs to be part of it. If you're talking about simplifying complexity, of course, that's what our job is. So that's a missed opportunity here. Like, fine. Project timeline: week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4. Research, ideation. Da, 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 da. Hmm. What is happening with these arrow from top and bottom? Research goes to ideation, research goes to UI implementation. Wireframe goes to prototyping, wireframe goes to prototyping. Why would it go twice to prototyping? But fine. I don't, I mean, it looks interesting, but even if you don't put the arrow also, I'll know that week 1 के बाद week 2 ही हुआ होगा, क्या हुआ होगा otherwise, right? So that's also something that needs to be thought through, right? That you don't add unnecessary detail or confusing detail for that matter. Maybe there is some logic to it, but it's not coming out, right? So it's then confusing. Teams, all of them are UX designers. Okay. How are approached by project while having cafe meets? How we approached our project while having cafe meets? Research, this is this, ideation, this, creation, this, fine. I was just thinking if this could have been part of this itself, right? If this is a timeline, then could you have written research उसी के नीचे a few things, ideation उसी के नीचे few things, implementation उसी के नीचे few things, right? Low fidelity design system, blah blah blah. This could have been like design system, low fidelity, blah blah blah, and so on. Again, the thing is, it is posted on Behance where the size is constraining, right? Had this been, say, your website, or say a Figma prototype, or say a presentation also, I could have still scrolled it, right? And all of this could have been part here as well. Again, not a deal breaker, but I'm just saying, because we are live, and I'm just telling that this can be still improved, right? This and this can be merged together. Let me know if you agree with this or not. Cool. How about sorry, how about Edun how the fuck am I going to pronounce it? Edu not EduOnTech. 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 Okay. EduOnTech. Understand our website. Mission is EduOnTech aims to provide comprehensive information, intuitive comparison tools, and experience guidance to ensure an informed and seamless college. भाई इतना word का कोई, these are just a lot of English words that that has to, like, somewhere it has to, start giving concrete ideas, right? Not like just very broad ideas. I understand it's a mission statement, but then intuitive, informed experience, intuitive experience, informed experience, seamless experience. I mean, they word, all of the three words kind of sound similar, right? Again, I might, you might find me nitpicking here. The reason is I want more and more people to be very direct with how much they're writing, because see, within what 1 hour I'm already kind of, you know exhausted looking and reading, right? As a recruiter, I'm saying, like, you have to think from recruiter's point of view as well, right? So you can't write just so much information. The reason is that, again, if you keep writing like this, I'll probably think that, okay, most likely this is how a lot of the other things are going to be written like this as well, right? This is like the LinkedIn language, the resume language. You'll not say that you have basically you basically taken a bulb out from the socket, and then, you, you basically solve that problem. You would say that there was a illuminescence issue in my house uh, post my working hours, which I try to solve it by taking another, or buying some random stuff, and then doing some research, bargaining, and blah blah blah, and then you would say that, okay, have basically bought a bulb and replaced it, right? So it's going in that direction. That's what I'm trying to communicate here, that don't go into that direction of, trying to glorify each and every small aspect of what you are writing. Try to be more direct and say that, okay, this is what we are solving, right? And we have seen some examples before as well, right? Anyway, uh the platform leverages sophisticated algorithms and user data to deliver tailored college recommendations, streamlining the decision making process. कॉलेज रिकमेंडेशन, ठीक है. Competition, what are the problems with existing education concept? Yeah, this is nice. Cluttered interface, confusing navigation, trust and credibility concerns. I like how this is written here, right? I was just wondering why this college vidya is written. You could have just presented it in a way where college vidya uske niche three things, right? But this is fine. Like, as a reader, I'll just read this and I'll get the idea. If I don't get the idea, then I'll also, read the subtext as well. So this is good. Inadequate filtering, insufficient college courses, blah blah. Okay, cool. What I would have also liked here is, okay, these are all the problems that exist, and I'll solve these problems, or I'll try to pick up these problems, or I'll prioritize these problems. I think that can be a step as well, which is okay, these are all the problems that I've identified. So that is basically your discovery phase, and then the next phase is you prioritize. Okay, these are the problems that I want to solve for. And fine. The journey of design begins here. Buckle up, personas, empathy mapping, blah blah blah. Okay. I think student and parent. This can be like through images, through word. This part can be highlighted that this is a student and this is a teacher. Oh, sorry, not teacher, parent. Student again, try to use image of somebody younger. Uh, Parent who is evidently older, right? Is an image that you can use. This person is doesn't look very evidently older, right? So yeah, just a tip, not a deal breaker again. Empathy mapping. Okay, says things feels unsorted cards. But this card sorting, who should be doing? This is not like you should. You are the problem solver. But why are you using card sorting for here? Okay, this is more like affinity mapping than a card sorting exercise, right? So affinity mapping would help you basically categorize different sets of data points. So here there are different data points that is getting affinity mapping done, and then this is getting sorted. So probably this would lead to your IA, right? Maybe, not sure. Yeah, that's what it does next. But this is not called exactly card sorting, to be honest. Or maybe it's called, I don't know. I like the card sorting that I know is a different mechanism. It's more about prioritizing, right? Like what you do there is you write down. So I'll tell you, if I were to do a card sorting at this point, okay. So I'll write down all the problems that exist, okay. Um, in this context, all the problems that exist, I'll write it in each sticky note. Then I'll give it to the user, okay, the actual target audience. I'll tell them that among all these problems that you have, which one for you are higher priority, or uh, you struggle the most with. You struggle, but that's not like a game breaker or deal breaker. And then something that you can live with or you can ignore, right? There are these three categories. You pick each, card, and then you just put it into their own category, right? And based on that card sorting, I'll get an idea of which is the most important problem to solve and which is the next important problem to solve. And that can then lead to the information architecture as well, right? In the sense that your home should be able to solve for the most important problems, or at least should give the entry to the most important problems. And in layer 2, layer 3, you can have other uh, problems which are not so important. But fine. Information architecture, organizing information natively to guide user effortlessly through their design journey. Landing page, navigation bar. Okay. This is more like this is two solution now. Two solution in the sense that information architecture to an extent could have been slightly at a strategical level than being this like this. But it's fine. Not a deal breaker again. User flow, homepage, course, pop-up page. I think I get what I actually wanted to communicate. I feel this is more UI thinking, right? What is happening here is UI thinking. This is also very UI thinking. That homepage, select course page, pop-up page, and nav bar pop-up, whatever it is, right? Rather, a user flow could have said that, okay, the 4 or 5 things that a user would do is not homepage. It is about explore different courses, different colleges, right? What is exactly the problem again? Is it courses or colleges? It's colleges, right? Selecting colleges. So the first step should be that the person is looking for colleges, right? There are different colleges, but before that, can I apply a filter which is where I want to study, or at least some subjects that I want to study, and so on, right? So the first part would be looking for colleges, applies, then part would be apply the filters, then the next part would be, you know, find recommended ones versus everything else, right? Like, if my system is intelligent, if my platform is intelligent, it should be able to recommend a few college based on some of the questionnaire that I would have asked you, right? Now, based on the recommended, if they click on the recommended college, then can I see a product page, or rather a college definition page of where all the information about that college exists, right? So the next in the user flow, that step would be getting more details about the college, right? And then I don't know what the next step is. Is it to apply for the college, or save it for later? Whatever the CTA is, that could have been one part, right? Or just, you know, the final CTA could also be like, consult about this college, or get to know more about this inquire about this college, right? That could have also been the thing. But the way it is written here is like homepage, select course page, and so on, right? So what I'm saying here is user flow is usually thought from a user's point of view. Like, forget UI exist, right? What do they want to do step by step, right? So think of when you usually write user flow, try writing it that way. That would open up different opportunities for you to basically solve, right? Wherein it may not be homepage, it may not be course selection page, it may not be whatever pop up, right? You don't have to define the solution at this stage, is what I'm basically saying. You need to think at a user mindset, and think like this: what are all the different steps that a user would go through, irrespective of how the UI is going to look like. UI, how it will look like, should come next. Okay, select university flow. Okay, fine. Okay, this was a course flow, this was a university flow. Mm, yeah, but yeah, the advice remains the same. The creativity starts out here. Come explore with us. Okay, design system, low fidelity. Hmm. Usually, you need to, okay, visualizing code functionality and layout with simplicity. No, just because it is required to do different fidelities doesn't mean you have to do different fidelities. But fine, I get the idea that you want to get a general sense of where things should be. But if you're doing low fidelity, I don't think mid fidelity is required. So that's also another thing. But anyway, it's fine. High fidelity, it's fine. Okay, this is the website. Okay. Education consultancy, upgrade your skills. What? Education with technology, but find the best education consultancy, the best solution for your career. Why is it R courses? Why is it certificate in PhD? Then why does it show university? Okay. I'm a bit confused about R courses because I was not expecting this to be a university in itself. Right. I thought this is where you find universities. Like, for example, Amazon gives you, like, Amazon doesn't tell you that these are all my product and you buy it. It tells you that these are all the different categories of product you can buy from, or these are all the product that exist. And Later on, maybe they would say that this is our own product, but anyway, I think the core JTBD is a bit disturbed here. The core JTBD was something else. Mm, fine. Because you have not so far understood what they want, no? So how would you basically then just show your courses at the top? That's the thing. Anyway, let's follow. Top university, why choose us? Blah blah. Yeah, this I thought this should be my starting point. Fill the basic details, explore your options, compare and get the best. Yeah, I mean, I was actually looking for this. This is what the user flow is actually, right? But I never saw that happening on the homepage itself. Like the homepage, the first CTA should have been like, which courses are you looking for, or courses slash colleges are you looking to get admitted in, right? Or what is your interest? Maybe that's even a better question to ask, right? Or maybe ask them to select, maybe based on a questionnaire, ask them to select what their preference is, and based on that you populate a list like this. But yeah, that is missing, although it is here. But it is missing in the homepage itself. And I'll tell you why this happened, by the way. Why the solution looks like this is because the user flow was thought from a UI point of view, right? Homepage. It's not like somebody is setting their preference for what they want. This is homepage. So I'll design homepage first, right? That's the problem with this being a user flow like this. Okay. Cool. I get the idea. I think it's not a very means it's a decent project, but there are so many flaws. So yeah, and there can be so many other complex stuff that has not been handled, right? It's just one web page that I'm seeing. That could have been much more complexity that could have been addressed, right? Let's see if there is any. No, too many projects. There are many parts of this project that gives away that this is not a very um what to call it, great visually designed. Like there are some missing part to it. I can see that there is an attempt, and this person, if they spend another 1 year, honing this craft, they would do really great, right? But at this point there are so many flaws, right? For example, the grid is on top of everything, right? That's one thing. This is something like, I'm actually looking at the visual design. I feel this dotted line to the side, hmm, doesn't look that appealing to me. These icons don't look that appealing, right? The padding here, not as per uh, my taste, right? So the association between this word and this box could have been, better. Say yes, I don't know what does that mean. So there is, again, don't want to nitpick randomly into everything, but I'm just telling that somewhere I can see that there is a interest in doing good visual design, and they're on the right track. It's just that they're far away from uh, you know reaching a particular point, but they're at least on the right track. What I don't like, however, is that everything is a group project. Here also, it was a group project, and we didn't know who did what. So that's an issue as well. And okay, three people are here, so all of the three people are going to say that we have done all the work, or all the major work, or all the best work, right? So ideally, even if you work in a group project, you create your own case study, separate case study for recruiter, right? Otherwise it's going to be tough to know what you have basically done. So I would pass this profile for now. Okay, I think we have basically, where is this? Yeah, I think that was a lot of project. I think we did three projects, but I was going super slow because I was also telling you where this can be improved and things like that. Ideally, in 1 hour, 30 minutes, I would have probably gone through 10 projects, right? In general, or 10 people profile in 1 hour, 30 minutes, or 2 hours. So you can get an idea that we usually spend around 6 7 minutes on each profile, and if it is very good, then we basically spend a little more time on it. As you would have seen that some project we wanted to root for that project as well, like that research wala, that good, well identified, well well researched and well ideated project, I was rooting for it, right? Like I wanted that. Arey, why did you leave behind that part? Where why did you not customize the Chat GPT like interface to, this particular context? So that also happens, and somewhere I also lose interest because of certain other things, right? Like if you are just using a very resume like language, or there are three people and I don't know who has worked on it, right? So what happens in general is there is a perception building that happens in your first 1 2 minutes, right? And based on that, your next 2 3 minutes goes, right? So make sure that your perception that is built from the beginning is done well. So yeah, I'll just look at all the different comments that have come in. Rahul says, would love to know your feedback for my portfolio. Cool. I'll see if you have actually, applied to this. I see, I think four people have applied to this. I'll pick it slowly. How do you create a website? How to create website of portfolio? So many places are there. You don't have to exactly create a website, but you can host it in many platforms. Like I usually host it on Bento. Moving forward, I'll probably have my own website, and I used to do it earlier as well. It's just that there is no real return of investment on a website, right? Like www.bharatapar.com. I don't have to have my own domain and stuff like that. But if you have it, then great. You can use Framer for that as well. So yeah, Framer, Bento, Notion websites, Google sites, Wix.com, Squarespace. So many stuff are there. Even Hostinger also has their own this thing, right? Um, own web builder. Even GoDaddy has their own website builder. So you can use many website builder for your portfolio. So what happens basically is after somebody clicks on your portfolio, you can then host your case study in many different ways. It can be a blog, it can be a presentation, which I recommend, right? Or it can be a video, which I did in my previous portfolio. So things like that. Could you please share review on my case study too in this session? In this session, I can't do more. I've already lost my voice, and also my head is completely blown. Too much cognitive load. But yeah, I'll try next session. Please use that form. I've probably given it in the description. Use that form to apply, and we'll see the next time when we do portfolio review. I'll pick it up. Let me know if this was useful, if I should improve something, if anything is working well and we should continue. Please give feedback on this call itself, right? So thank you for the review. We will improve our portfolio. We will improve our portfolio, all of you together. We never touch back to our project, so it was helpful. This will boost our motivation to work on this again. Hmm. We, matlab, it's a I thing, right? It's not like people are um, hiring the entire group. Sometimes that also happens, by the way. Like a few people work together to build a project, and then a company looks at the project and like, okay, they have done a really great job. We'll hire the entire effing team. And I've seen that happen, right? So yeah, I get the idea that you are one of the project. So please take your part out and then showcase your work. That would be much better, is what I was saying. When will be the next session? I am so afraid of committing to content these days. So I don't know, because there's a lot of other stuff that I have planned to do, or there are other stuff also that gives me that creative kick. So when we'll do, probably in 2 3 weeks maybe, or maybe more than that. But yeah, I'll just see if there are any other question that I should pick. That how should I do primary research? I think, yeah, that like problems. This is solved. Let's see this question. I have one detailed case study which got me an internship at product based company, but I didn't get to work on detailed tasks there. Can I work on another personal case study? What should I do? Yeah, that's fine. You can work on your personal case study. Because if you have a project that only paid you and you got some skills upgrade, but those skills were not are not the best representation of who you are as a designer or what you can offer as a designer, then definitely use a personal project to showcase that, right? So 100%. And it is, I mean, there is uh, no problem if a particular company project is not worthy of displaying as a portfolio. That happens to us all the time, right? It's very rare that we get a portfolio worthy project. That's what I have told in one of my videos, which is, if by chance any day you find a portfolio worthy project, please give your 200% to that project, right? Because it's a very rare opportunity for you to get those kind of projects, especially in corporate. So again, and if you're getting it continuously, you are at a company where you're getting it very continuously, those kind of projects which is portfolio worthy, then you are at a very good place, right? But if it comes rarely to you, then please give your 200%. Like, I don't want to be Narayan Murthy, but for that particular project, try to do your best, right? Okay. Need tips, guidance that helps me, or something for me to keep in mind that helps me faster, helps me learn faster, I guess. UI UX from computer science. I think the scroll less reels maybe. Like, have your entertainment, but have long form entertainment. Maybe, I mean, it's a very underrated advice, by the way. Like, whenever people ask me for advice, I give very random advices. Okay, so this advice is basically that I have realized that, l- see, entertainment is important. It's not like entertainment is not important. It's not like I'm saying that, okay, keep working 16 hours, 12 hours, 8 hours, anything like that. Right? But although I feel that you can work 8 hours, because nobody really pushed you into UI UX, right? You are the one who is walking through the door and telling that you want to become a UI UX designer. And if at school, when nobody told you that, or you did not really like going to school, but still you are able to give 8 hours a day, 10 hours a day to learn those subjects, then as an adult who is, consciously taking this career up, you should be able to give 8 hours. If not, then 6 hours. If not, then have the right expectation, which is that you may require 6 to 8 months of preparation, right? Instead of 3 months, may where is the job, right? So okay, that rant aside, the tip I was telling, that I've realized that even with entertainment, we should be conscious about what kind of entertainment we should consume, right? I think a very unrated advice is you go for long form entertainment rather than short form entertainment, and go for, so long term again is, could be like a complete movie, right? 2 hours movie than 2 hours scrolling, right? I think a lot of this discussion right now around brain rot, new keyword has come up in YouTube, which everybody wants to make a video on because that is getting a lot of click. Brain rot, I think the core concept of brain rot is when we do this mindless scrolling, right? We get, the problem is we get a lot of different emotion in a very short amount of time. This is something that does not happen in real life, right? Which is, one scroll, oh Samirena funny, next scroll, oh Saif Ali Khan, oh he has got stabbed, next, oh Saif Ali Khan meme, oh funny, then next emotional, next politically triggered, oh this Baba telling random stuff about parents, IIT Baba, okay, triggered, angry, right? Next, different emotion. That does not happen in real world or real life, right? In real life, when you are sad, you are sad for a longer period of time. When you are happy, you are happy for a longer period of time. But when you are doing this real scrolling and suddenly one emotion, another emotion, another emotion, that thing happens, it basically impacts us as people who want to, who needs to do long term sitting sessions. Difficult, our life becomes very difficult because we get very used to, having this emotion, like we feel something is not working out if we are in the same emotion for a longer time, right? That basically affects our flow state. So the short answer is to work hard, be in the flow state, and give as much time as possible. But because you added for some tips, or you asked for some tips, guidance, I'll give you some random and very uh, what is called unpopular advice, which is go for long term entertainment over short term entertainment. Maybe you spend the same 2 hours on reel, but instead of 2 hours on reel, probably 2 hours in a Netflix documentary, or not documentary, whatever, WWE episode or whatever, is probably much better. Although, like, I'm giving advice doesn't mean that I follow all of that. But what I've realized by, reading about this term brain rot recently is, yeah, that is a real problem. That it is not, it is not real life, like, it is very different from real life, right? Like, so much dopamine hits and so much emotion change doesn't really happen in real life. And we have lived this other life which is about longer period of emotions, for what, millions of years, right? These genes, or this body, this mechanism has lived that life for a very long time. So this is super new for our brain. So yeah, the random advice is, have entertainment but not reels. Use Netflix, YouTube, whatever, right? And if there is one more advice, then that would be like, don't reward yourself very often. Like, do, if you play the game like that, which is, if I study 4 hours, then I'll reward myself, or if I study 1 hour, then I'll reward myself with 1 hour of entertainment. I would say that make that game difficult for you, slightly difficult for you, which is, don't play that reward game at a easy level, which is like, if I sit 1 hour on my portfolio, then I'll go eat something random, right? So don't reward very very small wins very frequently. Anyway, cool, but I didn't solve any significant problem in that. It is big but not improve my knowledge. What was the question? Can I change my company after 7 months in which I have completed one big project? Yeah, yeah. I mean, make sure that your reason for changing the job is good enough. It's not just good pay, but probably, you know, whatever. Like, think of your reason why you are switching, and then if that makes sense, then it makes sense. Is it okay to prioritize business impacts over specific, or over user centric designs for case studies? It usually depends, but I want to know your perspective. I think it's a bit about what constraint you want to basically put forward, right? How do you sell that constraint is very important. So business impact can be one of that. Like for example, you're doing a project and they say that this needs to be done in 2 months because the moment it releases, it is expected to make revenue, blah blah blah, like this. And if it is delayed by another 2 months, then this is the revenue loss that you will face, right? Now, uh, if that's a constraint, then it's a constraint, right? You talk about that constraint. So yes, it is okay to basically deprioritize the entire user centric design thing, but you can always say that you are still following some part of user centric design, right? You can always talk about the constraint and how you navigated that constraint. That's your story, right? And apart from that, the next thing is there a future scope for you to come back to that project and make it better, right? So at the end you can always say that I know that these are the things, these were the gaps that could have been done better, but because of the constraint I could not do it, right? You can always say that. And in your case study, if you want to do a small personal project at the end as well, which is, if I were given more time, then I would have probably explored doing abcd, right? Then that is also a better way to show it. So the short answer is, write down your constraint. I mean, sell your constraint basically, show how you navigated those constraints, and at the end also tell that if those constraints did not exist, then I would have done this in a different way, like this, right? Cool. Attention span of people is like 0.05 seconds. Yeah. So I have an interesting topic on this. So I was reading about all this idea of attention span, that humans have now attention span of a goldfish and things like that. And then there was this counter argument that how are people watching Game of Thrones? I'm talking about like 2017, 18, 19 times, right? Back then I had come across a very interesting research paper, right? So people were saying that the attention span of human beings have reduced thanks to social media to reduce to that of a goldfish. But then the counter argument, what about Game of Thrones, right? Then I did some digging and I realized, so some of those bigger newspaper from US have written that or quoted that research says that the attention span of human has become that of a goldfish. Then I kept digging, okay, which research paper? Reached one research paper. Who has written it? And what about the validation of that research? Somebody has done some experiment, but what if that experiment was not good enough, right? So because I was in college and I was having so much time, so I did this random shit, which is kept on digging around that topic, which is it true? Like, was the research done in the was the experiment done in a good way? Have there been enough peer reviews done about that paper? There was no peer review done about that paper. It was a very low quality paper, first of all. And I just realized that just because research, somebody published a paper, random nonsense research, that becomes like the newspaper article. And because now some grand newspaper article have newspaper like some New York Times or things like that has published it, right? Yes, research said it, but then it was not good research that has said it, not credible research that had said it. So I just realized that, because and it had so much effect, networking effect, that became a narrative around the world that humans attention span has now reduced to whatever, right? um Technically, very technically, it is not true. Technically we can still watch 2 hours of Game of Thrones, 4 hours of whatever, like 4 hours of WrestleMania. I watch 6 hours of WrestleMania some days whenever WrestleMania comes, WWE WrestleMania. So It's not exactly attention span, but yeah, there is a narrative around that. Cool. That could be one of our videos, by the way. But cool. Now, how much time have we crossed in this? 154. So what I realize, it's if you're invested in a thing, then you can spend a lot of time in it, right? But for you to be invested in it, someone needs to be, good enough to hook you into it, right? Like I told you about portfolios as well. If you were able to hook me into it, then I'll spend a lot of time on it, or maybe another extra 20 percentage time on your project. But if it is like repelling me from the beginning itself, then I'll not spend time on it, right? Similar with social media these days. The thing with social media is you have like multiple choices, so now everybody wants to hook you. Whoever hooks you the best will get your attention, right? That's the game we are playing. This is the attention economy. Whoever makes you interested in their content would be able to basically hook you till the end, or till whatever they want to do. So it's not so much about attention span, it is more about interest levels, right? So yeah, at least what I believe. And I totally dismiss that article about attention span of a goldfish and shit like that. Like that was a random research. And I call it random because I have also published paper and I know how stupid that paper was. So I know how to write stupid papers and then uh, send it to a newspaper who can broadcast saying that research said. That's why you need to see how many citations that paper has, how many peer reviews that paper has. That is extremely important. The research aimed to analyze the impact of digital lifestyles on human attention. Yeah, but how about that statement generically saying that the human's attention span has reduced? I don't think that's really what has happened. It's more about, in that particular, very particular use case, they would have seen it has reduced. But anyway, like, do we know if goldfish in that in that particular environment? See, the problem is we are saying goldfish in its own general aquarium, okay, and then we are saying humans in a digital space. We are comparing two organisms in two different environments, right? So that's where, and then the narrative is basically, oh, generally humans attention span has reduced. How the fuck am I watching 2 hours of Game of Thrones, 4 hours of WrestleMania? So yeah, that's correct. I'm not talking about the research thing, but it's what I observed. Yeah, yeah, we can say that we get easily bored because we are so stimulated. Somewhere I also read that our body is understimulated and our mind is overstimulated than what it used to be for the last thousands and thousands of years, right? So yeah, that is also there. So because it is overstimulated, it is always looking for that emotional change, which is, oh, happy, oh, sad, oh, angry. Many researchers have since argued that attention span is more context dependent and not easily compared to animal. Oh yeah, exactly, exactly. That's my point, right? I was also trying to get to that point, which is, I think you have put it much better, Sashwat. So many researchers have since argued that attention span is more context dependent and not easily compared to animal behavior. Exactly. So cool. I hope you are doing well, by the way, Sashwat. Cool. All right. That's I'll take another 1 minute because that's how we'll complete 2 hours on this live stream. Not that I'll get any money or I'll get any reward for that, but yeah, testing your attention spans. Cool. If there are any other questions, we can take it up. Otherwise, I just want to share that my channel has now been monetized. So for YouTube, it takes about 4,000 watch hours for the channel to be monetized. I was thinking we could, monetize it by end of 2024, but yeah, 2025 Jan 19 or Jan 17 is still good enough. So yeah, channel is monetized, and I've declared it in my Instagram that with the first 10 rupees that I get from YouTube, I'll buy the Uncle Chips, green Uncle Chips. I think that is the goated Uncle Chips, right? Everything else is not there. That salted one, blue one, not there. That red one, too much tomato, not there. Lays to fuck it. I think, I think people who like Uncle Chips only went and stabbed, uh, stabbed this guy Saif Ali Khan for. But I'm going to cut this part. Very insensitive to say, but yeah, cool. Uh, let's take one more question. Uh, so I'm not a good English speaker, but I know it's very important to convey the thoughts as a UX designer. So could you tell me how can I approach the learning based on your interview experiences? Yeah, I don't think I am also a good English speaker. So I would say that you practice your presentations before taking it. So in your portfolio round, what you can do is you can say that, I mean, you basically practice. Think of all the different types of questions that might be answered or might be asked to you. So you create your script, practice it. So, for example, if somebody says, "Okay, this is the research. Can you tell me what were some of the research questions?" Okay, I mean, this is your research insight, UX research insight. But what about the question that you asked? Then suddenly, your script should kick in. Whatever you would have thought of, like, those are the kind of questions that will come up, right, in your case study rounds. So you can practice with your scripts. What else? General how to talk in English is something that only comes from practice. I don't think there is much more like watch this series, watch that series. I don't know how much that works. Maybe it works for people, I don't know. But I wouldn't worry too much about it. Try to do as much visual communication as possible also, right, on your projects. So that, like, for example, for me it's very easy to lose my chain of thoughts, right, while I'm presenting. So I try to make sure that everything I want to talk about is there in the slide, not in written format, but there is some cue to it, right? So because there is also that nervous energy when you are interviewing, right? uh, Maybe it's a big company, you are in the fourth round and suddenly you have that nervous energy. So even with a script in your mind, you might still be derailed because of that nervousness. So it's always better to have those cues in your presentation somewhere, right? Because it just reminds you that, oh, okay, this is where the click now button is there. Okay, cool, that reminded me to just click on it, show that this is the detailed process that I've done, and then hide it. So those are the two things. I think practice is, of course, everybody says this is not something that I need to keep repeating. It's a waste of everybody's time. Practice English. So that is waste of time. But in context of portfolios, those are the two things: script and then visual cues of everything you want to talk about. I've been following you for a while now and just wanted to say that you're अच्छा अच्छा, ये स्क्रीनशॉट वर्दी है ना, तो देखते हैं. You are one of the most honest designers out there, always presenting the facts as they are. Yeah, thank you. I mean, I always wish that this was something that somebody else did it when I was growing up as a UX designer, right? That's why I'm doing it. And I understand the main reason is image issues, right? One is, if I keep talking, if I giving GAN like this, then would I be considered, one of those people who keep giving GAN, random free GAN, right? So nobody wants to take that stance, right? I know a lot of people in my back would be saying that, oh, he's talking as if he knows everything, he has just learned everything and so on. Of course not, but then I know, if I'm at level 2, I'm not claiming to be at level 5. If I'm at level 2, I can help somebody go from level 0 to 1 na. So at least that is my mindset. But a lot of mentors think that they can't do this what we are doing here, right? Obviously talking to camera is also another thing, which is, um, again, I'm not great at presenting myself or my ideas like that, but so is Elon Musk. Right? Have you seen Elon Musk talk? So he also talks like this, and I'm like, yeah, if you have substance, it's okay. If you don't have presentation, you would probably build the, presentation muscle over time. So that's fine. And of course these kind of communications or these kind of videos are not going to get millions of views, because a, it is not great presentations. B, it is a very niche thing that we 18 people on this call are talking, right? Some of them are, I think, I have just switched on their mobile में कुछ वीडियो चल रहा है, साइड में कुछ कुकिंग विकिंग कुछ साइड में चल रहा है, so that is going on as well. But I feel that's the constraint right now. The people who have knowledge, who have the presentation skill, they are finding some other outlets of creativity, or they're just not simply interested in making content, or giving it to public in general. And then there are people, who are deep into content creation game and not so much into UI UX design. So hence, they would give a slightly surface level knowledge or a slightly different basics that they would provide, right? So that's what happens, right? There is that gap wherein a lot of people who have the knowledge do not come up and put public, uh, put their ideas public. And even if they do, you will not be able to discover them because they don't have distribution, right? So I have been making content for a very long time. For you to then discover me, that oh, there is this UX guy. If I was at 0 followers on YouTube and on Instagram, and I would have given very very deep the same knowledge, let's say, or even better knowledge, nobody would still have discovered me, right? So it's a very rare thing for somebody to be interested in content creation for long enough period to have that distribution built. That's one thing. The other thing is not caring about your own self image, and the other thing is you have the skill to talk about whatever you want to talk about, right? There is still another one, which is presentation, which I don't have, but at least I think I have the other three intact, which makes me, slightly different from other creators in this space. But yeah. Mm, thanks for the words, by the way. Just thought I'll just clarify why it happens in this channel and why it does not happen in other channel. These kind of discussions. Right. What's the plan of practical UX design core series from now? Like I said, the commitment is a very big issue when it comes to content for me. It's, I don't know. So it's not like I don't, I need to learn anything to teach that, first of all, right? Which is that the next chapter is design system. Then after that, there is basics of interaction design or prototyping. And then after that, it is about developer handoff, right? How to annotate and how to communicate and all those things. They are very straightforward for me. Like if you come to my house in next 1 hour, I'll be able to tell you how to do that. So the content is in my brain, the structure is in my brain. It's just that I'm not that much interested in making that piece of content for some reason. Like usually what happens is the kind of content that I want to create, it is not, I mean, the reason I'm making content is not only that one day it will be a, highly valuable content, or it will make me money or things like that. It is also my creative outlet, right? Because at job I do design, right? Design is what, like serving somebody. But then this is more like my creative outlet. I can basically, try different ways of presentation. You have seen my different YouTube videos, they would have very different presentation styles, because I'm playing there, right? I'm saying that okay, these are all the resources that is available to me. this is who I am, with whatever pros and cons I have, then how do I communicate or how do I teach? So that's like more energizing for me as a creator. And this particular thing so far has not been very, so this particular thing in the sense that this practical UX design course series, somewhere I got derailed in the sense that I'm not so much interested to continue that, to be very honest. But I'm pretty sure that one day I'll come back to it. Okay. What inspired me to start Curiosity? Mm, so it goes back a decade back, or maybe more than that. Probably when I was in class 11, 12, when I was posting random shit on Facebook, or probably in my first year of college or something like that, where one of the things that I have always tried to pursue is X-Men, right? So what is X-Men? X-Men is mutants, people who are misfits in the general systematic world, right? Uh, they go on their own journey of, you know, whoever they are, finding out whoever they are and finding their own people. So somewhere in class 11, 12, or maybe college first year, I had written this post that my dream is to create this one school where people with different talents would come together, to like singer, dancer, musicians, uh, creative artists, blah blah blah. All people should come together under one roof so that they would be able to, teach each other, as well as have that competition where they would grow as well. Right. I was thinking of something like that. That was a very random thought that I had put down, but I have always tried to pursue that. To be very honest, like building a community where different kinds of misfits come together is something that I have always tried to do, and I failed multiple times over the last 10 years. Right. But I have always pursued it. For example, in engineering college, I have built many of such creative, not many of such, but one or two. One was dancing, one was in filmmaking. I've tried to build two clubs in engineering college. Came out at Zeta, I was so much at NID also. I was part of one of those clubs that try to bring, different talents together, or at least industry experts to these talents. So somewhere I have always tried to pursue it. uh, Tried a Discord channel, didn't work out. Tried a Telegram channel, didn't work out. Not exactly didn't work out, probably my expectation was very high from it. uh, but also my distribution was also low enough not be able to crack that number. So now that I have some form of distribution, I am able to create a slightly bigger group than what it used to be. Still, it is nowhere near my vision of, bringing in really talented people together. Curiosity so far has been bringing in people who are interested in creativity, not exactly creatively supreme people. That is still the next level of curiosity. That should probably be called as Curiosity Club or something like that, or Curiosity 1% or something like that, or elite uh, curiosity, right? But it is still somewhere in that process, which is bringing the best talent or misfits of the society who do not really follow the systems together, so that, something will happen. I don't know, like it's a unknown for me. So that was the idea. And it's a very long term process. So I think somebody said that when I declared that my channel got um, what is it called, monetized, somebody said that okay, 2 years of your uh, effort is now going to pay you. But it is not exactly 2 years of effort. It's been a very 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 long process of creating content. I used to write shit on Facebook, then Quora, then Medium, then Instagram, try to build a few communities, and now doing YouTube. Right. So it has been a very long journey, and it should be that long journey as well, because again, from where we started, right? Like the kind of city that I started from to being a digital creator who is talking UX design on a random Sunday, broadcasting, doing all that shit. It needs to take that much time, right? So if I were born in a metro city with people into media around me, then yes, that could have been probably done in 2 3 years, right? Or at a time, let's say if I was born 5 years later, then probably, my journey would have been probably shorter to this point. But yeah, still pursuing that one particular goal of bringing mutants. I call creative people mutants so in my head. So I still want those elite creative people to be together and do something about it. So that journey is still on, and curiosity is a part of it. Also, I think in my UX course also I have said one thing, which is that creating a course is not going to solve the real problem of what UX designers are facing today. It has to be a system of solutions that needs to work together in order to really be there. For example, recently I was testing with accountability group, which is a lot of people cannot sit to study or cannot sit to learn UX design for a longer period of time, right? So we created this accountability group where every day you keep telling that this is your to do, this is what you want to achieve. 2 hours of studying this, 2 hours of doing that, blah blah blah. And every day you post that how much you plan to do tomorrow and how much you have achieved today. So that experimentation is going on. That is one tool into solving the learning UX problem. High quality content is one, but then high quality content needs to be packaged better is what I understand. So I want to script my videos better because um, I mean, I can't really be super presentable on live videos like this. If you take this 2 hour video, put it on YouTube, you think that it is going to get 1000 views, you are, wasting your energy, you are wasting your expectations as well. It would not cross 300, 400, 500 views, right? Although the things that we discussed today is very, very important for somebody to, you, it would solve a lot of problems for a lot of people, but still it is not packaged in that way, right? So if I just take this live video, whatever I talked, and then start packaging it in a better way, that is, it is going to solve it in a much better way, right? So courses are there, cohorts. Maybe someday I'll start a UX cohort also. Not sure, not so keen on doing that, because I'm rather keen on building scalable systems than service based systems. So UX cohort, teaching in a UX cohort is a very service based system, but most scalable systems start with it not being a scalable one. So we'll see what we can do with it, right? What I mean by that is I need to give my active energy in order to earn money with a cohort, right? But with a course, I create the course once and then it gets promoted in my content, which I like doing, right? And I have more freedom and creativity with my content. So my course gets promoted with my content, right? So that would be a much better place for me to be. But probably a course also has very less completion rate, right? Even if I price it at a premium, then also it will have a very low completion rate, which basically means it doesn't solve the problem what I set out to solve, right? So I think it's a system of things. Again, so many people from so many parts of India, remote parts of India, they don't know whom to contact, right? That's where the community also plays a part. Why did you start curiosity, wherein even if those people come together and if you have a doubt around how to do a website, let's say, right, you post it in the group, somebody would come up and say that, yeah, sure, use Framer, use Bento, use Notion, and so on, right? That helps those people. Or imagine if somebody today in Puri, where I live, don't know that I exist and wants to learn UI UX design or wants to do something creative and earn money, right? If you're not part of a community like this, that means you do not have access to creative people who know better than you also, right? Like, exactly what does Bangalore give you? Bangalore gives you access to like-minded creative people, right? That's what I want to do online as well with curiosity, wherein anybody from remote part of India also would be able to access the designers sitting in Bangalore, or having the experience of Bangalore, having the experience of San Francisco, and so on. San Francisco, though, it is far right now. SF is too far for us. Curiosity do not have too many US people, although we have a few people from US and Europe, but it still solves so many of these issues, right? So yeah, it's a big thought bubble that I thought I'll just present. Cool. Still, there are more people who are watching it. So I'm not good English speaker. Okay, I have talked about it. Cool. I think that's it. This was a very good live session. Very productive Sunday. To be very honest, I actually wanted to make a video out of portfolio reviews, but I was too lazy for some reason. Right. I was super exhausted. I thought I cannot make a video. It's a lot of work, and that basically, I was thinking I'll do it in the weekdays, but then I did not get time. In the weekend, I did not get energy because I was kind of exhausted in the weekdays. So I thought, okay, let's just do a live session and get this thing done. So yeah, thanks so much. Thanks everybody who has still waited on this call. We'll try to do a 1080p live stream next time. But yeah, thanks for joining in, and I'll see you in the next one.